I just bought a new house. My kid is obsessed with the Crawlspace Part 4. According to the timestamps, this search went on for 2.5 hours. That's when I had the thought to just go back and check the cameras, Ferguson said, and I found this. Ferguson switched back to the restroom entrance camera, rewound it back to when Ryan walked in, and then hit fast forward. The footage speed by, with only the occasional security officer or student passing by giving any hint that it wasn't a still image. He fast-forwarded until the camera was caught up with the live feed. Ryan hadn't walked out of the bathroom at all. Now, we turned that restroom inside out, Principal Thorne explained. The restrooms are designed to sit in the center of the school for ease of access and to make sure that a kid can't just, say, crawl out a window and skip school. To be frank, there is no way in or out of the restroom except through that entrance. What are you saying? I said quietly. What I'm saying, ma'am, is we just don't know where Ryan is. The police got called in. I gave them all the information they asked for, answered all of their questions, and was told I'd be contacted as soon as there was a development. I finally went home as the sun was setting. I weakly walked up the stairs and into my bedroom and flopped down on the bed. I closed my eyes and gave myself a moment to let the day's events catch up with me. Big mistake, because as soon as I stopped for a moment, I felt the tears begin to run down my face. I took a moment to take some deep breaths. In the dead quiet after I exhaled, I heard something. "Mommy!" I shot up out of bed. That was Ryan's voice. "Ryan," I said. "Ryan, where are you?" "Mommy." I leaned down. It sounded like it was coming from the crawl space. I decided, screw it. If this was a psychotic break, then I'd deal with it, but I had to know. I ran around to Ryan's room and threw open the closet doors. I pressed the panel to open it. It slid away, and there he was. He looked pale, like he'd been sick for days. His eyes were closed, and he was lightly tossing and turning as though he were having a bad dream. I gingerly reached inside and pulled him out, and once he was out of the crawl space, his eyes fluttered open. "Mom." "I'm here, baby. I'm here," I said. I held him tightly, as if he'd disappear again if I let go. "You're safe now. You're safe." "Mommy," he said, his voice weak. "My friend tried to take me." I set him down and looked him in the eye. "Who tried to take you, sweetie?" He pointed at the crawl space. "My friend. He lives in there." I looked at the opening to the crawl space, and suddenly it all felt wrong, deeply wrong, like it shouldn't exist. I walked over and closed the panel. "It's okay, baby," I said, hugging Ryan once more. "He won't be able to hurt you." When I finally let go of him, I noticed he had something in his hand. "What do you have there, Ryan?" I asked. He sheepishly handed the object to me. It was a small wooden slab painted a dark blue. Ms. Hayward's class was painted on it in yellow letters. I called the police and informed them of the situation. They came by the house and tried to ask Ryan questions about what happened, but he never deviated from the same story he told me. He'd gone to the restroom, and then his friend had tried to take him, and then he woke up to me pulling him out of the crawl space. I watched the officers as Ryan spoke to them, and I could see that they were realizing a few of the same things that I had. That a kid had somehow vanished into thin air when he shouldn't have been able to. That a kid had somehow then appeared in a crawl space that could only be opened from the outside while his mother was home, and she'd never noticed. That said, Mother couldn't possibly be responsible because she'd never gone to the school to pick him up. I watched as the cops got more and more confused as they came to these realizations. Once they were done asking Ryan questions, they told me that they'd contact me if there were any developments in the case, along with resources for child therapists in the area. Once they were gone, I asked Ryan if he wanted to sleep with me that night, and he enthusiastically said yes. We both climbed into bed together, and once I was sure Ryan was asleep, I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and walked into his bedroom. I slid the panel aside and looked into the crawl space. There was a small hole drilled into one of the walls, at about where eye level would be if Ryan was sitting inside the space. The hole should have opened up into my room. One small problem. I knew there wasn't a hole on my side of the wall. I walked around to my bedroom to double check. No hole. I walked back around and looked inside the crawl space again. Hole. I made my way into the crawl space, slowly approaching the hole.